Tonight, I'm Maryann Okon. Today, we take a quick look at what's happening in South Sudan, where the revitalized peace agreement signed in 2018 to end years of civil war is in serious trouble. Key reforms like the unification of forces, the constitutional review, preparation for elections have stalled. And tensions have spiked following the House arrest and recent treason charges against First Vice President Riek Machar, with warnings from regional monitors that the deal could collapse and the country sliding back into conflict. I'm being joined by Peter Powell. He's a Sudanese and an Rotary International peace advocate. And my friend. He's here to help us make sense of what's happening and what can still be salvaged in South Sudan. By the way, Peter is from the other Sudan. Peter, it's so good to have you join us, and you're joining us live from Australia. How are you?
I am very fine, Maryann. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Lovely. Help us to make sense of what's happening. How would you describe the current state of things right now in, South Sudan with the peace deal? Is it dead? Is it on life support? Is it salvageable? What exactly is the situation?
Well, first, let me thank your station for having me today. It's just thank you very much to have me on here.
Yeah.
The prospect of peace and the livelihood of peace in South Sudan is a very it's just on the life support. It's not very much dead, although the party would term the relationship as if it's not very effective anymore. But the international community and civil society, together with the public, are calling for the principal party of the 2018 peace agreement to continue working toward implementing it.
So they're being asked to actively work towards implementing it. But then we're seeing that, I mean, I might not totally understand, but we're seeing that, the parties involved seem to have their differences. And that is where the fear is that this peace deal might actually, fall face flat. What do you think
do you
think the differences are? Go ahead.
It is very much a concern in terms of how viable this peace agreement is going to be, given that one of the principal parties is now under our arrest by the action of the other party. So the collaboration and the spirit of peace that were displayed in 2018 has now seemed to winding, and that the fear is that the security arrangement, Chapter 2 of the revitalized peace agreement, has seemed to be the one that provoking ongoing conflict and mistrust among the parties. So whether it is going to be sustained or it is totally abrogated, as has already been shown, it's yet to be seen, but very much it has been injured. It's not very much. Having anything left now that would serve the agreement as if it is viable.
So the viability is in question. Are there any parts of this agreement that have so far worked at all that you can say as a peace advocate, as a negotiator, that has worked? Which ones have also completely stalled?
Well, the chapter 1, which has talked about the unification of the political parties or members of the different parties to form a government. So the formation of the government seemed to work out. Getting this political agreement and all parties to work together, the vice president, the other MPs. So the parliament was formed. So the political aspect of the agreement seemed to be completed, and that they were hoping to work toward implementing the security aspect of it, but also working toward the development of the constitution, as you mentioned here, and that would prepare a nation for the elections. But the constitution working paper has not been progressively dealt with properly.
Okay.
But the Chapter 2 agreement of the agreement that seemed to be the one that draining the prospect of peace and even the relation between the parties.
Interesting. Uh, could I mean, I'm not sure, but could it be that maybe one party wants more of its people in parliament, or want to be in charge, fully in charge of the government, and that's why there's not a clear-cut agreement? Because if there has been an agreement of a power share, get ready, we'll go for elections. Could it be that maybe one party is not certain that they would be voted for when the elections actually come, and that's why we're seeing this back and forth and the foot dragging? And what are the consequences of Machar being held in custody and this agreement actually falling apart?
Well, the first aspect of your question is that one party wanting to continue control and dictate the implementation of the agreement, and that is the president of the Republic of South Sudan, Salva Kiir. The unification of forces that were going to provide security across the country, working under a unified government, was very much undermined by the size of President Kiir, and that undermined that unity, collaboration that were hoped to be displayed by the parties to take the country forward. But the consequence of delaying the Chapter 2 agreement, implementation of the Chapter 2, is what lead to ongoing crisis that happened here this year in March, which now lead to the accusation lay against the vice president, who is the other parties, that he has been accused as if he has any role or affiliation to the other armed group civilian that were having grievances with the South Sudan armed defense forces. So the detention of Machar and even the suspension of it, or whatever it is that the government is also doing at the moment, is not going to serve the country. It is putting the country at risk, given that the hope for the nation is that peace, is for them to work together instead of isolating or even persecuting these political activities, pursuing them.
I'm thinking to myself, I mean, because I have very little time, we saw the fallout of the recent disagreements and the humanitarian crisis that South Sudan is experiencing. I've spoken here on this show with the United Nations Human Rights Council's head. I think she's Nigerian. About the water and sanitation crisis that the women and girls are experiencing. A grandmother was raped. I told that story here on the show. It's a terrible situation. While these warlords are still, more interested in, who takes power and who doesn't, the country seems to be falling apart. This humanitarian fallout in South Sudan, can it ever be handled properly? I mean, look at what's happening. It's terrible. Where do the people go from here? Because as much as these power lords are fighting, the people are the ones who are at the receiving end and suffering.
Well, it is the right question, and it is the observation that shared by many goodwills people that wanting South Sudanese to be rescued from that terrible situation, especially the humanitarian catastrophe that being caused by this internal civil war. It's very, very catastrophic. I mean, what's happening across the country, but also moving, displacing community members to the neighboring country where having no access at all to relevant essential services, especially health, food, and even security protection as well. So that's why the international community and the African unions has been trying very much coming to counsel, provide counsel to the leadership to prioritize the welfare of their people. But we are yet to see these leaders, especially President Kiir, who happen to continue to undermine the implementation of the peace agreement. Although he has been promising that he will never take this country back to war, but he's continued to do it, and civilians continue to run away. Ethnic group continue to engage in fighting. Corruption also, as U.S. has just really published a document recently that really sparked a very scary evidence of how resources of the country are being managed and by the leadership.
Interesting. You talked about the African Union. Let's talk about some other regional and global actors like the United Nations, IGAD. What should they be doing actively, or what are they doing actively to keep that peace deal alive and appeal to the warring factions for the benefit of peace and, of course, the benefit of the people of South Sudan?
Well, they have they have been providing ongoing support to the leadership, encouraging dialogue between the party to de-escalate war and observe ceasefires between their forces, but also prioritize the welfare of the people. So IGAD has been very active, but also have had very limited tool to prosecute and even reinforce its decision to make sure that the parties listen to its ruling or directive. It is to do with advising parties prioritize the interests of your nation, and similar to the other international actors, they are there providing counsel to the leadership, given that South is very much considered a sovereign state, of which they have their own government, of which they form as the unity government. But the African Union has been very critical in facilitating a number of consultations, and then even recently, when the vice president was put under arrest or hours arrest, so they had to delegate somebody to go and try to understand what's happening in the South. But they have not done anything practical that would deter the party not to violate the term and the spirit of the agreement.
I want to ask a question that obviously involves you, because you are your capital is Juba, isn't it? Sorry, your capital, yes, is Juba. It's incredible, and I'm going to put you on a scale side by side with Congo Brazzaville and the DRC, like you, Sudan and South Sudan. You are living in peace. You're having an amazing time, and just next door to you, your brothers are killing themselves. Is there anything that your government is able to say or do that would calm frayed nerves on the other side of the border?
You mean Sudan?
Yes.
Sudan is also suffering with similar internal grievances. It is not very healthy there. And it is,
but it's way better than what's happening in South Sudan, isn't it?
Eh?
Isn't it better than what's happening in South Sudan? There seems to be it's not as bad as what's happening in South Sudan, is it?
That's true. It's a little bit okay, given that Sudan is a bit mature. It is an elder, and it has all these foundations that are already there, and it has that ability to manage these little grievances that has happened. But what is very interesting in comparison to what's happening in the South, and also in Sudan, is that the security mechanism continue to be the concern or the trigger of the conflict in Sudan, but also in the South. And that Sudan, the 2018 peace agreement was brought by Bashir. Without Bashir intervention, then South was wandering around. They had to intervene and said, you come, let's discuss this. And then when they agree, then they talk of revitalizing the agreement that they had in 2015. So what we have today in the South was brought by the bigger, previous country, Sudan. And it is now a test of the leadership of South to take it forward to serve the livelihood of their people.
Well, this is me hoping that maybe someone will pull a rabbit out of a hat to prevent this peace agreement from sliding and the state from sliding back into war. In 30 seconds, is there a glimmer of hope that might happen? Well,
we are hoping that the continent is very much with us. The region of the African, East Africa, is also with us. The world through the UN are also with us. And that we hope that they would encourage dialogue between the party and not let this country slide to a conflict.
All right.
Again.
I want to say thank you, Peter. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Peter Powell is joining us live from Australia. He's a Rotary International peace advocate, and he has been talking to us about the situation in South Sudan. Thank you so much, Peter, for taking time out. I know it's about 1 a.m. in Australia, but thank you for talking to us. We appreciate it. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks,
all right.
Mary.
Thank you very much. Well, Lagos, we'll go on a break. When we come back on the other side of the clock, we'll be still talking on hard facts. On the 5 o'clock hour, we go back to River State. Stay with us.
More conversation, more talk. More right after this.
Stay fresh, stay dry with Nivea Dry. No bad smell, it dey protect from sweat and it dey last wella.
Nivea Dry don't get 25 ml pack. Make you rush go buy am.
The price set, no dey tear pocket. Make you stay fresh, stay dry with Nivea Dry.
Nivea Dry deodorant will help you maintain your steeze. It only for 25 ml small size for boys and girls wey sabi.
Nivea Dry.
Let me just you guys. So, Judith visited me a few weeks ago and brought food stuff. While unpacking, she pulled out John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate and started hyping it. Creamy, tasty, and more. I just smiled and nodded, not taking her seriously. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm calling her, asking where she bought it because I need more for my family.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria.